And you're gonna understand this someday. And about 5 years ago, I was like, I understand now.
Yeah.
And now I gotta have my breath to see the shoot numbers. That's the way it goes. You can't see that. No. Good.
I was looking at something on my friend's computer yesterday, and he was like, see that? And I'm like, that font is about that big, yeah, I can read that, but everything else, that might just be Sanskrit, it could be anything, I'm not reading that.
Yes. Totally understand.
I need to say.
Yeah, it's comfortable on here.
Very nice.
Like the sweatshirt.
Once a day at work. Walk down there and go on the background.
Right.
I was like, I should have grabbed my jacket.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was cool.
It says it's gonna be 58 degrees. So maybe it's 58.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Oh.
Very, good. Thank you. I love sport today. Busy. Still busy.
Everyone did come in.
No, they did. It's really, but then it's certainly.
Good, how are you? Good as always.
Always. Very much. I saw where they were advertising in the place for the driveway stuff.
Alex, you know, too many Alexes, I always get everything mixed up.
My mom calls me Alex sometimes.
I don't feel so bad. I noticed the open house.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that was at the open house for the, action, safety action plan that thought he was at the train station? Or thought he was at the trail.
Like those. Hey, Matt. Trying to remember the name.
I'm trying to remember, I don't think it's the guy, I think I've seen him, but I didn't really know who he was.
Yeah,
But I thought we should contact him, because he came to the safety action plan for the house, he was the trail. That's what
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you.
I can check it'll be in the signage sheet.
yeah,
I can check it.
yeah, you should contact him.
Part of the safety action.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah,
Sign in.
yeah, that's what we were like. Sign in. We don't care that you're not really interested, just sign in.
That's like it's good when it's not. It might be.
Yeah. So, I'm sure you're right. So I don't know how hard that is to do. That is a great idea to do it though. But yeah, that motor, I do. I just. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's no guy down there. Oh, yeah, after the fun stuff, like kids, bracelets and all that. I mean, it was a great thing, absolutely.
It's, now, if you sign up for it one time and by default, you're with on it, every year thereafter. Unless you decide you want to.
And everything's very high qualified, like, they had life insurance and, I mean, all that stuff was always taken out of pre-tax. Stuff that was covered, just your standard benefits, right? They took that out pre-tax, I'm pretty sure when I was there.
Now, I don't remember about the life insurance.
Health on vision, yeah, I think the health insurance was too. Always, you know, there's got to be and stuff like that, but I mean, you can run it through there.
Right now, and we have that as well.
So that's.
All I want is to deal with health insurance.
It's for us, it's a thing where just some people decide not to do that. Because they want to show a higher income every year, like maybe that they can, 30 years down the road, they want their social security checks.
Could be.
You know, 30 years down the road.
That's true too.
As you can see, right?
I got a feeling it may not be there.
I mean, some of them, that way, word is started. Yes.
Okay, well, I've got 2:00, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I will start with introductions. I'm Jeremy Tanz with the Southeast Missouri Regional Planning Commission, current chairman.
Alex McRoy, SEMPO staff.
Rodney Bollinger, City of Jackson.
Gary Harbison, single board.
Mark Phillips, Game Special.
Joe Killian, MoDOT.
Marla Mills, KLG Engineering, Simple Staff.
Trevor Foley, City of Cape.
Matt Winter, City of Jackson.
And walking in, we have Mayor Stacy Kinder, the city of Cape Girardeau. Online, we have Betsy Tracy, Daniel Whitecap, Brandon Geber, Jenny Smith, and Michael Brandon. And we'll give Brandon Geber a proper introduction in just a little bit.
Which kind of leads into the agenda. We're going to have a slight amendment to the agenda. We're going to add a presentation by Mr. Gerber on the Protect program. Mr. Gerber is the planning solution chief for IDOT. So we'll kind of add him into new and unfinished business. Let him do that at that point. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda with that amendment?
So
Motion from Mark,
Second.
second from Rodney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. The minutes are in your packet there. Had a chance to review those. We'd take a motion to approve the minutes from the October 16th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Have a motion from Rodney, second from Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I have no communication to share at this point, so we'd open it up for public comments. Don't see anyone from the general public here for comments, so we will move on to new and unfinished business.
Yes, so we'll put Mr. Geber's item on first. Mr. Geber contacted me, I believe just after our technical planning committee had met about the prospects of joining their group in their efforts to pursue a planning grant through the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Geber to allow him to explain what they're looking at.
Sure, and thank you all for giving me the time today to speak to the board. So the Protect Discretionary Program is new in the bipartisan infrastructure law. So it's been around for a handful of years so far. Don't ask me to explain what the acronym stands for because it's a long one. But essentially, this is grant funding to help protect vulnerable assets against extreme weather events, flooding, natural disasters. And there's a couple different components of it. State DOTs get this money through a formula means. So Missouri, Illinois, we both get a pot of money that we're allowed to program. And then there's a discretionary aspect of it. So anyone can apply for planning funds, which includes creating the plan that I'm going to talk to you about today, to design, engineering, and even implementation. So there's quite a bit of money out there, and there's a pretty big call for projects going on right now. Probably the biggest gap that we saw and is who's ready to implement projects like this. And the answer's been fairly small. A lot of communities have local hazard mitigation plans. They're aware of aspects, but there hasn't been much large-scale studying of it. And with some of the increased extreme weather events that we've had, especially in our river communities, that's a gap that we'd like to fill. We were recently contacted by our Federal Highway Division office, Betsy, who's on the line now, to kind of report on where we are as far as planning in the state with various MPOs. And I think out of our 15, we've got 3 working on a plan, and most of the others wanted to do a plan. They just don't have the time or money to do it. So that's where we're stepping in. We are looking to pursue a singular planning grant to complete a plan for all MPOs who want to participate. Essentially, the state would hire a consultant who would come down to Cape Girardeau to help you guys prepare a plan. It would certainly work on local input, be tailored to the team or to the needs of the board here. But in this case, it's going to be a long-term plan that's going to look at, what assets do you have that are vulnerable to, in our case, in the Midwest, mainly extreme weather events. We get the random earthquake here or there, but flooding, things like that. We've had quite a bit of issues in Southern Illinois right now, both on the east side of St. Louis. I'm sure some parts of our interstate system made the local news for flooding and a dam breach not that far away. So looking at things like that, it can go into evacuation routes. It can go into documentation of hazards when it comes to other infrastructure, buildings, schools, things like that. So that's kind of a brief overview. What I wanted to present to the group here today was essentially, we have this opportunity. We're going to do a group grant. Every MPO that's not doing their own, so 12 MPOs within the state of Illinois. 11 of them have signed on to this effort so far. Cape Girardeau is the last one. And there's no local match component to it. Planning grants from the federal government for this program are 100% funded. So we're not asking for money. Given that aspect, we're more than happy to work across the river. So this would include engaging most of your MPO, engaging MoDOT and getting data and participation. But would really like to see you guys be able to take advantage of this program, take advantage of the funding, just make sure that everyone sort of has a long range plan together to protect your roadways and your citizens. I'm happy to answer questions. I know it's kind of a lot.
Ask would be if we would like to participate in their grant application. Just for some reference, some of the cities that have signed on with them, City of Bloomington, Illinois, DeKalb, Illinois, Dubuque, Iowa, Paducah, Kentucky, Quad City, Springfield, and St. Louis.
Today we got Beloit, Peoria, Decatur, Kankakee. Every MPO along the Mississippi River that we share an interest in has signed on. Paducah recently signed on. So we're really trying to focus on our river cities. That's where the extreme weather and flooding has certainly been an issue, and why we're really kind of hoping to talk to you all today.
And Mr. Gibbert, what would you need from us if the board wanted to pursue joining the grant application?
At this time, just a notice. Let me know via email or whatnot. We'll have a consultant team preparing the application, and at that point, we'll probably ask for a letter of support. And then, if funded, we'll start getting into letters of commitment. Once again, no money, just time and data.
Gotcha. So are there any questions of Mr. Gibbert?
So based off the city list, it doesn't sound like we're a unique MPO on both sides of the river. You're working with several.
Yeah. So yeah, St. Louis, Quad Cities, Dubuque, Paducah. given that this is 100% funded, it's really expanded our ability to work across state lines. And, you know, we're more than happy to do so. You guys are a part of our team and our interest, and we want to make sure that we're a good partner in return.
And I would share the grant program does make sense for our areas. We are in a seismic area. We do have a very important bridge crossing over into Illinois. All would benefit from hazard planning. So could we entertain a motion to join their grant application?
So moved.
I have a motion for Mayor Kinder. Do we have a second? Second, Trevor. All right. Does anyone have any discussion they'd like to have before we?
Is there any type of minimum or maximum type of size project dollar wise, or is there anything of that nature that comes into it at this point, or?
Were you able to hear that question?
Yes, when it comes to the planning grants, that's mainly what I can speak of. When it comes to implementation, I'm not familiar, but I can get the information to you. Certainly, since MoDOT and IDOT both receive formula funding as well, that really kind of opens up your opportunities to bring funding into the area. So a couple avenues, and I'll make sure that I share some of that implementation infrastructure funding data with you.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. There's no other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll get you an email confirmation shortly.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Okay, we'll move on in our agenda.
Oh, and just as reference, if you want some more information on the program, I did put together a one-pager for your handout just on program information.
Next item is resolution 2024-04, resolution approving the 2024-2027 Transportation Improvement Program Amendment number 5.
Okay, so this amendment is to include the Jackson Boulevard lighting project. It is a cost share project between Jackson and MoDOT. It is estimated to be a total of $935,000 programmed in fiscal year 2025. The project would add lighting from south of Kayland Drive to Old Orchard Road. And the project will be designed and constructed by the city of Jackson with MoDOT reimbursement. We do have a one-page handout of the TIP amendment as well.
You don't have any questions on the amendment? Now we take a motion to approve the amendment.
So moved.
Motion from Mark. Second.
Second.
Second from Mayor Kinder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion stands. Moving on to item B, resolution number 2024-05, resolution approving the MoDOT and IDOT 2025 safety performance targets and adopting long-term safety goals of 0 fatalities and 0 serious injuries.
Okay, this resolution is the one with the staple in it. It's a bit longer than our other resolutions because it's serving two purposes. The first purpose is it's that time of year again for us to decide whether we want to support or develop our own safety performance measures. Historically, we have supported both MoDOT and IDOT's PM1 safety performance targets. This handout, this resolution is included with this one-page handout, front and back, with the tables on it. It shows MoDOT and IDOT's targets for safety. These are due by the end of February, yes, February 27, 2025. We need to decide whether we'd like to support MoDOT's targets and IDOT's targets or develop our own before that deadline. This is something that we had previously talked about with our comprehensive safety action plan. This is data that we haven't collected regionally. We've just relied on MoDOT figures district-wide. But it is something in the future we could decide we want to set our own targets. But with this year being our first year with our safety action plan, once it's approved, I think it would make sense to begin to collect our data before we set our own targets. The second purpose is due to our comprehensive safety action plan. There's a federal requirement that we commit to a long-term goal of 0 fatalities and 0 serious injuries on our roadways. It needs to be approved via resolution by the board, and it's then added to our comprehensive safety action plan. That component then renders it eligible for implementation funding for any competitive grant cycles that come out. Any questions on the resolution?
So questions or comments? Take a motion to approve the resolution as presented. I'll make that motion. Motion from Rodney. Second. Second from Mayor Kinder. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes. Next, we'll go to resolution 2024-06. Resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and execute a contract for professional services for development of a metropolitan transportation plan.
A large work element in our UPWP, our work plan for the year, is updating our metropolitan transportation plan, which is our long-range transportation plan for our region. We put out an RFQ on September 17th and asked for proposals to be back by October 11th. We directly solicited 24 firms that were regional. We posted the RFQ on AMPO's website, that's Association of Metropolitan Planning Organization. We also had it on SEMPO's website. We were fortunate to receive 3 proposals from 3 very qualified firms. We had our select committee review the qualifications and proposals and score them. From that scoring process, CBB Transportation Engineers and Planners scored the highest. That recommendation was taken to our planning committee, and our planning committee unanimously voted to make the recommendation to the board that we engage with CBB for a contract to update our MTP. Questions on that?
This resolution just authorizes you to sign that contract.
Yes, so it authorizes me to negotiate the contract. We did have the budget in the RFQ saying that we didn't want to entertain proposals that would go above our budgeted figure. So I'll negotiate the contract as long as within our budgeted amount, and then get started with it.
Any other questions or comments? So motion to approve. Motion from Mayor Kinder, second.
Second.
Second. We'll give second to Matt on that. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, stands.
And I would like to thank our review committee for volunteering their time to review all of the proposals and score them. That was Rodney Bollinger, Ryan Trimplin, and Drew Christian.
Next item is the Safe Streets for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan.
Okay, we do have a draft. We received it last month. We have it on our website. At our most recent planning committee meeting, we voted to release the draft for public comment, having all of our planning committee's comments already incorporated. So it is on SEMPO's website. Based on the volume of comments that we received, we may be taking the draft to the board in December, but at the latest January for consideration of adoption. According to our grant agreement, we have to have the plan adopted by the end of January 2025. Right here on SEMPO's landing page is our project page for the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. Here you can download the draft. This takes you to the interactive story map. Here is a copy of the draft safety toolkit that folks can review. And then we also have the interactive map embedded on the project page, so people can scroll through it here, or they can open it up on a new tab and go through the storyboard of that map. So it has these tabs where you can navigate, or you can just scroll down. Talks about the projects, our data collection, the outreach that was done with all of our open houses. It shows our high injury network. We get into the interactive maps. It shows our crash history and crash data in the area. Get some of that. Oh. We are hardwired, I'm not sure why that crashed. Hopefully Zoom is still on. Oh. Yeah. Talks about our toolkit, then it gets into the action plan. And then it gets into each specific project that was identified, given basic project information for the public to review. We had 9 total projects that were identified as the highest priority projects in our area in terms of safety. So if folks are interested, they can go to SEMPO's website and learn more. And through the website, they can directly issue comments to me as well. Any questions on our safety action plan?
Please, we'll move on to our next item agenda. The SEMPO Regional Trail Connection Study.
Our planning committee received another presentation by Planning Design Studios, our consultant for the project, earlier this month. At the presentation, they unveiled a third trail alignment option. I'll show you briefly here what that looks like. So it's the blue line here. Originally, we had the northern route and the southern route. Now we have the new northern route up here in blue, where they show the trail traversing and crossing Highway 55 at LaSalle, and this would be an under service crossing, so it'd be under the bridge there. Crossing and then meeting up where we'll call it now the middle alignment, where the middle alignment connects in Jackson. Now that we have this third alignment option, we're going to go back to the public with one final open house to show this third alignment and get their feedback on it. And again, take the opportunity to educate folks about our process and what we've learned about each alignment, the benefits and the negatives about them. So the open house, I do have a flyer folks can take with them. The open house will be on December 12th, which is a Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Osage Center. That'll be following our planning committee meeting that month. And then on December 11th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Jackson Civic Center.
Fire systems.
What did I say? Oh, sorry, December 4th and then December 11th. I had the dates as 12-4, so I started reading it wrong. So following the open house, we will be entering into our final task. The project was broken into 5 different tasks. Our final task is the draft report and the final report. So we'll be working on that through the months of December through February. Any questions on our trail connection study?
There's no questions. We can move on.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Why didn't they consider, I mean, rather than enlarging that, making it so large going out to the, why didn't they look at just going straight up and tapping into where the blue, so you had an under crossing?
Say that again.
after you go east there on the blue line,
Yeah.
under the underpass, he's talking about just heading south.
Is that what, 620?
Yeah.
That's 620.
I mean, you could make this really easy connection here, to go up and up, and then you get off of this over the top crossing. And it keep people
I
going
wanted the
way
same
out here
thing.
with all the
Yeah.
landowners.
I can ask that. I think that was proposed as an alternate and I forget why. I don't know.
I was
I
curious.
can't remember. It's certainly an option. It's pretty easy to see from the map that you can kind of do a hybrid between the middle.
Yeah, it'd be a
and-
lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And it'd get you a north route.
And it tie right into the existing out there, you know.
I think there were some elements they were trying to capture with that northern option, being Grove. Yeah.
Is this, remind me, Alex, is this strictly recreational? Or was the original intent also to actually, provide for a
It was-
pedestrian or bicycle, quick connection, non-vehicle, but a quick connection between Cape and Jackson?
Yeah, the impetus behind the project wasn't strictly recreational. It was more focused on establishing connections between the two communities. Our regional bike and pedestrian plan was a lot more focused on recreational and developed a lot of different options. But it kind of put a very broad brush on a northern and southern route analysis. So with this new study, they went into things like property ownership, elevations, adjacency to destination centers, things like that.
So this will all be new construction pretty much, I mean, I know it looks like we're kind of on Main Street from Jackson.
Yes, essentially it all, there's not, yes, certainly the southern, that would be all new. Good portions of the northern would be good as well.
I'd say in Jackson, there'd be a combination of existing and new infrastructure. We already have some of that in place,
Yeah,
or we'll be building it next year.
that ties into West Main,
East Main.
East Main.
Yeah. Yeah, we're building a half a mile of 8-foot wide sidewalk between Shawnee and Bellevue next year for the tap ring.
So Alex, that's more than allowed, is that going down County Road 620? Is it just following it? Part of it?
Right here?
Yes.
It looks like it's going down, a Veterans Memorial there on the north end and then going across 618, what it looks like from here, but I can't really verify that from here. Going over 621, I think it's jumping across W and going over to 621, I think is what it looks like.
Yeah,
If my vision from here is right.
but we will have all those details for our open house. Those are good questions.
Well, I'm just thinking that further expansion on streets and stuff in the near 5 to 10 years. The city going straight off the.
And as Rodney has shared, I think they were also trying to capture future growth in this area as well.
Because I foresee in the next probably 10 or so years, that may be going north.
Mhm.
Should Cape and Jackson start sharing the open house notice on their social media pages? Website?
Yeah, I will send that out right after this meeting.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions on the trail study?
No other questions and comments. We'll move into member reports. We'll start with Kate.
Well, it's Trevor's here, I'm gonna take it right on up. Take it away, Trevor.
On the transportation side, we had one of our last TTF7 meetings last week. The committee came up with the streets that they're on what they're going to present to council on December 2nd. So the full presentation will be to council on that night. And then 2 weeks, the next meeting, we will have hopefully the first reading. So we have maintenance involved with that and then 3 other street projects inside the city to move forward. If council feels like those are the ones they wish that we move forward with TTF7. And then the vote will be in November. I am
April, I'm stuck on water. I'm thinking, okay, we had.
Move on.
this one. April, I'm thinking, okay, we had first reading this in December, then last one January. April vote will be for the TTF7. We've got a lot of other major projects going on right now with TTF 6 and 5. Spring Street should have seen going out for bid on the south side. South Spring's going out, I think, next week for bids. And then we'll have the north side go out hopefully the first of the year. And we've got East Cape Rock on the construction. It got closed last week. Parts of it, they're actually asphalting Lexington as we speak. So, which is, I think, very exciting to see that moving forward. That's what I have.
Anything to add?
Yeah.
Jackson.
I'm gonna defer to Rodney. Thank you. Yeah, after 2 long years, our Planning and Zoning Commission just adopted our brand new comprehensive plan on November 15th. It replaces the last one that was in effect from 2009. So we're excited about that. It was a long journey. The Jackson Middle School Crosswalk and Sidewalk Improvement Project, that's a MoDOT TAP grant. We are pursuing a task order with an engineering firm to complete the project design. They will be LPA certified. We've reached out and received a proposal that we're currently reviewing from Smith and Company out of Poplar Bluff to complete those plans, specifications, and cost estimates. We just approved the amendment number 5 to the tip for the East Jackson Boulevard roadway lighting project. We're working through a program agreement with MoDOT staff on that. We're trying to set up another meeting to nail that down. We also just talked about the East Main Street Sidewalk Improvement Project. That is also a MoDOT TAP. We received NEPA clearances from MDNR, got an A date, and now we're in the process of 2 small land acquisition, temporary, permanent, 2 permanent access and drainage easements. So those packets went out with property owners, and I'm going to follow up with them soon. Let's see, we also approved at our last Mayor and Board of Alderman meeting a construction phase engineering proposal with the Bacon Farmer Workmen. So we've got them ready to go. Should be out to bid in January. The bridge replacement and Whole Creek bridge replacement, Sunset Hills. It's a MoDOT Bro grant. We're working with the firm of Keeler Engineering to finalize those plan specs and estimates. Finished our LPA questionnaire to MoDOT. Should be out to bid soon on that. Waiting for the Highway 61 project, of course, to get done before we close down any more streets on that corridor. Speaking of which, the roundabout project at North High Street, Deerwood Drive, we discovered that we need 2 more very small electric guide wire easements on the East Deerwood Drive section away from the roundabout. So these are going to be city acquired easements for some new power poles, and they're down guy wires. So we're going to get those out soon. And we're also working with Locke Mueller, who's the engineer, to coordinate all the utility relocations. Staff is working with the City of Springfield, Missouri on a program agreement for the Faith Across Pedestrian Safety Program. I think we're going to bring that to the mayor and the board at the next study session meeting. We finalized and approved a memorandum of understanding with the Uptown Jackson Revitalization Organization for wayfinding directional signage. So we're well on our way there. I'll let MoDOT speak about the Highway 61 project. We're just hoping that that park entrance gets closed, gets open. The Parkview Street entrance gets open, about this time next week, for our, holiday lighting, ceremony. And then our street department, last but not least, is, doing, their annual winter weather training. And our fleet department is servicing all trucks used for snowplows and salt spreaders. That's all I have. No.
Okay. We'll move on to Cape Special Road District.
Okay, I can't remember if I updated you last month or not, but we did complete the Cape Rock Bridge Replacement Project. It was opened about a month ago to traffic, and at that time we finished our asphalt overlay because we overlaid Cape Rock Drive after the bridge was complete as well. So both of those projects are done. Other than that, it's kind of routine maintenance for us. We've been doing our snow plow and truck work. And that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Jenny was on, but I guess she jumped off. So Port Authority.
We just advertised for our driveway and parking lot, paving project. So we're excited to get that, under contract probably early January. And get a notice to proceed out shortly thereafter. It's got to be done by the end of May because of the funding.
RPC, RPC doesn't really have, we finished the TIP amendment that was just approved. And we are working with MoDOT planning on incorporating additional multimodal into our TAC. So we're still making contacts with those providers in our region. Hopefully we'll have a first overview meeting there in January. With that, we can move on. MoDOT.
Okay, so, first things first, this last week, we announced that our new director has been chosen, and that is the former chief engineer, Ed Hassinger, who, prior to being the chief engineer, was the St. Louis district engineer. So he is bringing 40 years of experience. It's a good thing for us. He's consistency, as he's been in leadership for the last 11 or 13 years, something like that. So it's good for us. Rodney, I do not have a specific answer on the park entrance, but I texted Chris. I believe he's on vacation this week. But the general update on that was that they're finishing up sidewalk, sod, striping, seeding. And on 72, they're doing pavement markings on that. 74, if you've driven 74 right off the interstate, eastbound, you notice that the signal work is going on there. They've got the concrete going on for the bases, right? And they've been working on Route K on the pavement repairs that's been going on there. And we're getting ready to hit STIP season real hard, getting estimates, working with our design staff. So in the next couple of weeks, me and Mike will be inputting projects and be working on that really for probably the next 4 months. And so let's see if Mike has anything to add.
Yeah, did you say that, we're still kind of looking for the new area engineer for the area with Chris being in a new role? Hopefully we'll find out who the new area engineer is soon. Hopefully this week.
Mike, you have anything else? That was it.
That's it.
Okay. All right, Tom, do you have anything with IDOT?
Nothing other than just thank you for your participation in this resiliency plan. I know it's something that this last year with the low water up the Ohio and Mississippi, both are taking another look at just what kind of planning one might do for extremes. So appreciate it, but nothing else.
How about our federal highway partners?
This is Cecily. I have nothing to add.
All right. Daniel, Betsy, do you have anything?
Betsy, I don't have anything to add today. Thank you.
Yes, I don't have anything to add either.
Thank you for being on the call, though. We appreciate that. We'll move into our staff report.
Only other item I have is I'll be working on our IDOT unspent PL funds agreement. Just as a reminder, the past 2 fiscal years, we've been receiving extra planning funds from IDOT due to unspent balances and regional MPOs in Illinois. This next fiscal year 26, we will get an additional $64,528. And previously, in our fiscal year 25, we invested our IDOT PL funds into development of our trail study, or actually 24, we invested in trail study, 25, we're investing in our metropolitan transportation plan. And since our MCP update will span 2 fiscal years, I think it would make sense to, again, invest the extra funds in the development of that plan as well. So I'll be putting together that agreement with IDOT. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Alex? So you want to have any other business or communications they want to share? Motion to adjourn. Kimber? Second. All in favor? We are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, probably would. I think there's a